Okay, take one. Hi.
Hi, Archie.
How are you today?
I am great. How are you?
Very good. AKA the bookkeeping god, AKA Fair and By.
Bob and Beb, or Beb and Bob. Okay. Well, I have it recording, so yay. I will go ahead and share my screen. So Jack has just arrived in China. When we left off yesterday, I was very surprised to find out that inside bamboo, it says there are tiny worms that can be eaten if you need food. So it's inside the bamboo stalk were tiny worms.
Can you give me to see the picture of the worm?
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
This is looking at
Wow, so many.
bamboo worms.
So many bamboo worms.
Okay, here we go. So that would be the bamboo stalk with the worms inside. Boy, I really didn't believe it.
What?
I don't know. I didn't believe it. Look, here's another picture. Worms inside the bamboo stalk. It says yummy insects, fried bamboo worms. Here's another picture. Looking inside the bamboo at the worms. Maybe this is the reason why pandas like to eat bamboo. Maybe they're going for the worms. Maybe that's where they get their protein. Just can't believe it. Look at this. It says barbecue flavor, bamboo worms, fried in soybean oil and dusted with barbecue seasoning. I just cannot believe it. Look, here's bamboo worms inside a can. Can you believe it? There's more cans.
Bamboo in can?
I know, there's bamboo worms in a bag.
A bag?
You see that one right here? Bamboo worms, it says. Irresistible natural enzyme. Freeze dry, just add water. I just can't believe it. Here's fried bamboo worms in Thailand. Have you ever eaten these? Look at this.
Yes.
You've eaten these? You've heard of this before?
Yes.
What is going on here? I don't even think I can look at that picture. My goodness. You know,
maybe you ask question. Maybe you should ask question.
Really? Yeah, you think that she's heard of bamboo worms?
Yes.
This is a little bit easier to look at, right? Just the pretty bamboo. This is what I think of when I see bamboo.
Worms.
But you know, I look at this picture and I think of a bamboo forest. But we read yesterday in our book that bamboo is a kind of grass.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't really
not a tree. Not a tree.
Really make me think
grass.
Grass. So, well, here, thankfully, we can look inside these bamboo stalks and not see any worms coming out.
Because it's clean.
It's been cleaned.
Yes.
I mean, when I see bamboo like this, I think, oh, it's so pretty.
I hiked in a bamboo forest before.
Oh yeah? Here's a mat that's made
Shito.
out of
In Shito.
Oh, really? Here in Taiwan?
Yes.
This is a bamboo farmer.
And when it's in maybe 100 years before the books are been made of bamboos or wood.
Oh.
Yes.
Are chopsticks made out of bamboo?
You said maybe 100 years before. Yes.
A long time ago, but not now.
Yes. I read that in Merlin Mission.
Oh, okay.
Magic Treehouse Merlin Mission.
Well, this part I cannot believe. He says it tasted like peanut butter when he had a bamboo worm. He said it didn't taste like a worm. How in the world do you know what a worm tastes like? I've never taken a bite of something and said, oh, that tastes like a worm. I just can't imagine taking a bite of a worm and saying, oh, that tastes like peanut butter. Well, we're going to continue on. As Jack's mind drifted off thinking about the grass, the sound of cracking branches from behind brought things back into focus. Jack quickly turned round to find a small woman dressed in khaki-colored clothing walking toward him. Khaki-colored is kind of like a tan color. It's sort of a light brown and a little bit of yellow kind of mixed together. It's called khaki. I don't think I have anything in here. Oh, it's kind of the color of a box, a little bit. A light colored box.
Did you see the knee? How there?
Yeah, we aren't there yet, but we're gonna get there. And oh, you jumped ahead of me.
How?
She looked friendly enough. Her eyes were as gentle as her smile. And she says, ni hao, which of course is not correct. That's not how we say hello. Would you like to say it correctly for us? Go ahead. Can you say it for us?
Ni hao.
Thank you. Ni hao, she said as she approached Jack. Wo jiao Mei. It is a pleasure, which means my name is Mei. It is a pleasure to meet you. And she bowed her head in Jack's direction. Guessing
she can speak English, so she might be the same. She might be the same country from Jack. Would she?
Well, she could be from England. She also could be with the GPF or what is it called? GPF organization, because Jack is guessing that she was his contact. So if you're going to be a secret agent and you get sent on a mission or an assignment, then when you get there, especially in a foreign country, you need to look for your contact. That will be someone who is looking for you and can speak your language and can tell you what your mission is. So that's the person that will give you kind of the assignment, maybe any extra little gadgets that you might need or tools or information. Maybe they're going to give you a secret identity or things that you might need in order to be able to do the mission or the assignment. So that's the end of that page. Oh, and here she is. So Jack arrives here in this bamboo forest, this bamboo area, and here she
looks like a China person.
Yeah, but she could be a Chinese person who speaks English. And so here she comes, and she's been waiting for him, and she says what her name is. Now, I think if they were really secret agents, they would maybe have a code word. You know, maybe she would say something like, the bamboo is lovely at this time of year. And then maybe he needs to say something like
a dumpling.
You know, I like dumplings. And so if he's waiting to hear her say something
like a dumpling, like a dumpling. He opened his bag. Let it open his bag.
Yeah, so maybe if he's expecting to hear her say something about bamboo and she's expecting him to respond with something about dumplings, then they would know, okay, this is my contact. She is who I'm waiting for, or he is who I'm meeting. So Jack bowed his head in respect. That's something that's done in the part of the world with China and Japan and Taiwan, that when you meet someone, you can bow your head in respect. It's a polite way to meet someone. And he says, "Wo jiao, Jack," he replied. Would you like to say that part for us?
我叫 Jack.
He decided to see if May spoke English, right? Because actually all she did so far is speak Chinese. It's a pleasure to meet
And
you.
English.
Well,
And English too.
what did she say that was English? All she said,
It is pleasure to meet you.
no, that was Jack talking. This is all she has said. Oh, you are correct and I am incorrect. You are right. Right here, she said, it is a pleasure to meet you. You are so smart. So it does sound like so why doesn't he know that? He says, it's a pleasure to meet you too. What can I do for you? She nodded to show she understood him. A terrible thing has happened, said May, lowering her eyes and shaking her head. You are standing in the, I don't know how to say that, Wolong Nature Reserve, one of the largest habitats for the endangered giant panda. Now, habitat is a place where someone lives. And so the giant panda lives in this nature reserve. So that would be, in this case, like a bamboo forest. It's a place that has food and shelter and the right temperature, the right environment for the giant panda to live. Endangered means that there are not very many left. It means that, you know, maybe if people aren't careful, they might be all gone. And then we would say they are extinct.
Like a Taiwan black bear.
Well, are there any Taiwan black bears left?
Yes, I saw them in Dashasan in Taiwan too. I saw them. And in zoo too.
Well,
There's in zoo.
there are many animals in the world that are endangered, which means there's not very many left. And if all of them die or get killed, then they will be extinct, which means we will never see them on Earth again, ever. If there are none left to have babies, then
But you can use DNA.
Well, I think we might see that in some movies and in some science fiction stories, but I'm not sure I've ever heard of a real news story where an animal has become extinct and then in the lab they have saved some DNA from that animal and then created the animal in the lab. Maybe that will happen someday, and maybe that is the plan.
I saw that before.
But where? Did you see it in a movie or in a book or what?
In a book and on TV.
Uh-huh.
And my mom and dad told me.
Well, there is a famous set of movies that are for older kids. They're for teenagers and young adults and adults. And it's called Jurassic Park. And it takes place.
Oh, I know. I saw that before.
So in that movie, which takes place on an island, they have created dinosaurs in a lab. And so they said, well.
And the doctor is called Dr. Wu.
Oh, yeah. Well, he said, millions of years ago, when dinosaurs were on the earth, how did it work? Maybe they got bit by, maybe a mosquito bit them and got some of the blood into the mosquito, and then maybe the mosquito got caught in some sap on a tree and stuck and covered with the sap and died. But over years, that sap covered mosquito turned into something called a what was that called? Not a fossil, but amber or something. And then if they would find it, and then in the lab, they would extract the blood from the mosquito stuck in the fossilized sap, and from that DNA, create a dinosaur. So that was the idea behind the movie. But that is what we call science fiction. That is not something that actually happens in real life. Now, whether or not people
But it's happened in real life. I saw someone use DNA to have another person.
Well, I have heard about them doing it in a lab to make another sheep. So that's called cloning.
But they do another person too.
Yeah, I have not heard about that. I think one of the problems is it gets into something called the field of ethics. And ethics is kind of the study of what is right and what is wrong. Well, for one, people, so these are opinions, right? People might not agree. One person might have one opinion about what's right and wrong, and someone else might have another opinion. But the scientists have to think about ethics today, because scientists have learned so much and have gotten so smart and have figured out so many things that they might be able to do something that isn't really a good idea. And so they have to face the question of, just because I can do it, should I do it? Right? Just because I could create this creature from the DNA that we found in the blood, inside a mosquito, inside amber from millions of years ago, should I create that dinosaur, or should I do this? And so, there's a lot of controversy around it. That means different people don't have the same opinion. So they have to have conversation and think about it, and have conversation with scientists about, okay, just because we can, is this something that we should, or does this is this right or is this wrong? Is this good or is this bad? Different people have different opinions, different cultures have different opinions. And anyway, that's ethics. Now, the thing about animals, if we forget about DNA and cloning and labs for a minute, in the natural world, for an animal to continue living on Earth, there needs to be a new baby born, which means there needs to be parents. Well, if the parents get killed, if there's no animals left to have a baby born, then in the natural way, we would never see that animal on Earth again, and then we would say it is extinct. This means there is none left in the world, like the woolly mammoth is extinct. Endangered means they're still on Earth, but there's not very many of them, and so people have to be really careful. People cannot hurt them. They should be protected in a zoo or in maybe a nature reserve, but people need to be working very hard to make sure that they don't get killed by other animals, or that they have enough food, or that they're safe. And because the world does not want to lose all the different kinds of animals that we have. The world does not want animals to become extinct. So she says there are only about 1,000 giant pandas left in the world. That's not very many, actually. And many of them live here in the reserve. Last night, she carried on, one of our female pandas, Ling, disappeared. No one knows what happened to her, but I think she was kidnapped. Okay, we mentioned this word kidnapped when we were reading Jigsaw Jones and learning about a ransom note. So kidnapped is when the thief takes an actual person. We usually use the word kidnapping with people. Here they're using it with an animal. So the thief would take an actual living thing or creature, in this case, the giant panda, and it does not belong to the thief, and the thief does not have permission. Now, if it's a kidnapping, then usually the thief wants something, and we'll give a ransom note and we'll say something like, if you ever want to see this giant panda again, then you need to give me $1 million, and you need to take it and put it in this tree on Thursday at 4 o'clock, and don't tell the police, and don't bring anyone with you, and blah, 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 and give all these directions and instructions, and they're trying to be the boss, right? So first they did the bad thing of stealing and taking something that doesn't belong to them, and then they do the bad thing of being a bully and making you a victim and saying, I'm going to tell you what you have to do if you ever want to see the giant panda again. And then you have to decide, are you going to play ball or not play ball? That was the discussion we had when we were reading Jigsaw Jones. Okay, she says, I need you, so here comes the assignment or the mission. I need you to find Ling and bring her back to the reserve as soon as possible. Before Jack could respond, May added, time is especially important as Ling needs bamboo to survive. The longer she is away from the reserve and her bamboo, the more her life is in danger. So if you say someone's life is in danger, that means they could die. So this panda needs the bamboo in order to survive. That means to live. And if she does not have the bamboo, then she does not have the food to eat that she needs, and she could die. Don't worry, said Jack, trying to reassure May. I'll find Ling and bring her back to you. The first thing I need to do is take a look at where she was last seen. So he's being kind of like a detective, kind of like Jigsaw Jones. And the first thing he wants to do is see, where is the last place you saw Ling? And then he's going to look for clues. So he might be a secret agent, but I think he's also a detective. No problem, answered May. I will ask Fong, one of our park assistants, to show you around. He should be able to help, since he was assigned to Ling and kept a record of her daily habits. So this guy, Fong, he works in the reserve, and part of his job is to keep an eye on Ling and to watch every day, what does she do in the morning? What does she do in the afternoon? When does she eat her lunch? When does she eat her breakfast? How much does she eat? When does she go to sleep? So he kind of keeps a record. He keeps notes of what does she do each day. That would be her daily habits. Terrific, said Jack.
But maybe him take Lynn.
Well, I think I would put him on the suspect list, right? If he knows Ling that well, then it would sure be easy for him to be the one to take her, wouldn't it? That's a good prediction. We'll have to see. Terrific, said Jack, who was anxious to start his mission. I would love to meet him. Chapter 4, The Hairy Teenager. May radioed for Foam to come and join them. Within minutes, the park assistant appeared. When he did, Jack was a bit surprised. He didn't look anything like what he had expected. So he must have had a picture in his mind of what he thought an assistant would look like. Firstly, Foam wasn't an adult. He was only a teenager. Secondly, he was dressed completely in black. His hair looked like it hadn't been washed in ages, and he had a tattoo of a scorpion on the back of his left hand. Do you know what a tattoo is? Okay, we'll take a look at a tattoo. A tattoo is when someone has a picture that's kind of put onto their skin permanently for the rest of their life using a laser. Have you seen that?
Nope.
All right, I'll show you. Okay, there are some examples of tattoos. So it's kind of artwork that gets put onto the skin and it's permanent. It's there for the rest of your life. So you better like it. Well, here is a scorpion. Have you seen this before?
Yes, in the desert.
So this person had a tattoo of a scorpion on the back of his left hand, and out of a mole on his chin grew a curly black hair that was so long, Jack couldn't stop staring at it. That's this right here. See that one hair coming out of his chin?
Yes.
What are you looking at? Foam growled. Well, the fact that he's growling means he's not friendly. So, and he doesn't like to have people stare at him. So, boy, Jack maybe feels a little nervous. Jack was surprised that he could speak English. So there's Jack meeting Foam. Oh, and here you can see on his hand, this is the tattoo of the scorpion. All right, I'm going to put our star right here. Okay, it is time to say
So long.
so long.
So long ago.
Bye, Archie.